The food at Barcelo Maya Colonial all-inclusive resort. So what is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel, Roula Mind Body Life. So I recently just went to this resort. My friends came from New York to visit me, and I had arrived with a day pass. I had actually spent a couple of days here with the day pass, just kind of going back and forth. So we are starting off with breakfast. I will say breakfast is always my favorite time of the day, especially with buffets. And they had everything that you can think of, all the breads, fresh fruits, yogurts, milks, you could see jellos. They had an amazing array of cold salads, and again, this is just for breakfast, so I was highly impressed. Their cheese selection, smoked salmon, their prosciutto, guys, I was highly impressed with that. I am a sucker for prosciutto. I don't care what time of the day it is, so it was definitely good. And the rest of the deli meats were also good as well. Make yourself a little sandwich. Absolutely enjoyed it. The fruit also and the yogurt parfaits I did like, because I did end up making myself a little parfait. The fruit itself, like the tropical fruit, was amazing. That mango, I had like a whole plate of the mangoes because it was just so delicious, so sweet. So it has all of your basics also, like scrambled eggs, ham, bacon, an amazing omelet station. And then again, still all of like almost your, I guess, like staples that you would see, hash browns, sausages. They did have little quesadillas, and they did have also Mexican food, which I really did enjoy. And since I've been living in Mexico, I've really come to love and fall in love with the cuisine even more. They were making crepes, let me just side note on that. But here is where the actual Mexican cuisine is, and I ate all of that. That's where I was basically every single time. They had chilaquiles, ribs, and then they gave you all of the traditional Mexican toppings. Now, there is one thing right here that many might find a little weird, but again, because I am here and I eat it, it was actually tripe soup. And it was so good, guys. I ate it every single time I would go for breakfast. We just passed another omelet station, but they were also making homemade quesadillas, which were really good. And those churros, my friends, every morning would have those churros. They said they were so good, crunchy on the outside, and really kind of just soft in the middle. They did have a little kids section as well. You know, my friend's daughter is older, so she didn't really go to that, but it was still a cute little thing to have for the kids. And then they also had fresh juices, which I really enjoyed. I love just fresh pressed juices, so that was definitely my favorite. And here is that tripe soup that I was talking about. More of the mango, the quesadillas, and all the Mexican food. Double mimosas, don't judge me, but I definitely had a nice seat at the buffet. So after that, we're gonna go into actually the lunch buffet. So I really wanted to kind of highlight the buffets because for lunch and breakfast, there is not actually that many places to eat on this resort, but they at least do give you a good selection. So they had the firewood pizza right there, and then they have a pasta station. So at least, you know, you had a little variety. There was definitely different types of pizzas with different toppings. And the pastas itself, you can see the sauces on the side. They had regular like marinara, meat sauce, Alfredo, or you could just do like a garlic and oil. So I did appreciate that. And the lunch buffet, I would say again, has a really good array of stuff. It had, you know, all of your basics, meat, fish, vegetarian options as well. So that was definitely appreciated. You can kind of see though, things would run out really quickly. They were staying on top of it as much as they can. So I will say that, you know, it's not as if you would go and there was always food missing or anything. It is just super busy here. So they were always, you know, empty but replenishing. You can see hamburgers also. My friend said that she enjoyed the hamburger. The patty was nice and big and juicy. So here are some vegetarian options, but those were the Mexican dish options. And then also here you are able to make your own nachos. So they give you like ground beef on the side, nacho cheese, and all the fixings. The salad, again, I was highly impressed with the salad bar, just a lot of veggies, which I love veggies. If I'm gonna have a salad, I want all of the veggies. So again, just the cheeses and meats. I will be very honest with the review in the sense that the food was good. I have stayed at resorts where, if you've seen my other videos on my channel, there was some other resorts I've stayed at where the food really was not good at all. Everything I ate just kind of missed the mark. Whereas opposed to here, I do feel not every single thing that I ate was a home run, but there was a good amount of stuff that I ate that I personally think was definitely delicious and yummy, and the food was better quality than other resorts that I've definitely stayed at. So, you know, they also give you soups. They literally had everything that you would want on a lunch buffet: fruits, salads, your proteins, soups, pizzas, pasta. I mean, you really can't go wrong. And the desserts. I will also say, guys, again, being honest, I tried almost every single dessert. And besides that little red dessert that we passed and the tiramisu, I didn't find anything else as yummy as I hoped it would have been for a dessert. But this is the mariachi, grill mariachi, and this is actually outside by the pools. So if you do not want to go into the buffet, this, or, you know, leave poolside or beachside, or if you're just hanging out there all day, and you can absolutely come in here. And it is buffet style. It is a little bit smaller, but I actually found that their selection, I actually liked a little bit better. They had a lot more like seafood and stuff, which for me, I love seafood, so I really enjoyed it. And there was a full bar. So here, like I was saying, it is kind of like the buffet inside, a little bit smaller, but the options were different. But you still get your soups, your salads, you know, like your cold bar and everything else. Here was actually ceviches, which were so good, and traditional Mexican aguachile. If you don't know what that is, it's kind of almost like a ceviche, but Mexican style. And this was my favorite, whole fish. I am a sucker for whole fish. I grew up eating whole fish because I grew up fishing, so I really liked that. The pizzas were okay. They weren't great. They weren't terrible, but, you know, they were doable. What I really loved, and this was my favorite, they had a lot more seafood here, and these whole roasted chickens. I love that. I love just, you know, roasted chicken, grilled meats. So that was really my favorite. Right there, he was making hamburgers, so you could still get, you know, grilled hamburgers and put all of your toppings on it. And you also get a nacho station here. The guacamole, unfortunately, I didn't think was great at all, but you know, it was edible, I guess you can say. It just wasn't my favorite. But here is another place where you could just make your own kind of nachos. And then they had all the breads, fruits, deli meats, stuff that you could put on top of your hamburger if you wanted. So I did, you know, I did enjoy this. And again, it had everything that you were looking for. And most things were a hit. There was a few things that were a miss. But for the most part, I will say that the quality of food here is still pretty good, and they always had soft serve ice cream, which my girlfriends loved. So right now we are going into the dinner buffet. Now I do want to say something, and I feel like maybe I should have mentioned it a little bit earlier. The reason why this is mostly just all the buffets is because of the simple fact that every other restaurant, every specialty restaurant was booked out for the entire stay that my friends were here. So we were not able to get into any of the specialty restaurants because everything was booked up. And on top of it, after 3 p.m., they do not let you make reservations to any of the specialty restaurants, which unfortunately was pretty inconvenient for the simple fact that they did not disclose that to my friends. They did not disclose that to me when I was checking in for the few days that I had gone and visited them through a day pass. They had never mentioned that at all. So they had already been there for a couple of days, you know, and then they had already eaten at the buffet a few times. So like, okay, we want to do some of these specialty restaurants. And there was absolutely no availability. So please, 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 guys, you have to make sure, and that is a very, very big tip, is make sure that you are making your reservations as soon as you get to the resort. And if you are able to make your reservations before you even actually get to your vacation and to the resort, if they allow you to do that, I highly recommend doing that, because unfortunately there was no space at the specialty restaurants. And where you would make your reservation is at the guest services. It is right next to where the reception is in the hotel lobby. So again, make sure you make your reservations for the specialty restaurants as soon as you guys get into the resort and you start your vacation, so at least you can switch it up and not just have the buffet for all 3 meals or the outside buffet at Mariachi. But again, there still is so much selection. As you have seen, there was some seafood. My favorite thing was those whole shrimps with the head on, my absolute favorite. So everything was still pretty delicious. Not my all-time favorite resort food, but definitely still up there. I would give it probably a 7 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you on the next one.